Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Mo aka Swedish Whiskey Girl. Today we are here with a non-alcoholic whiskey called Whissin. I mean, I don't know if you can call it whiskey when it's not alcohol in it, but it's an alternative for whiskey that is non-alcoholic. I love exploring non-alcoholic options, mocktails and non-alcoholic spirits. I think it's quite fascinating to see what you can do with the flavour. And so far I haven't really found an alternative for whiskey that I have loved, so maybe this will be it. It's of course 0% ABV and it's made with barley, rye and wheat, and it's apparently quite semi-sweet, and their suggestion for serving it is neat, on the rocks or in an Irish coffee. But I really like a whiskey sour, so I thought I would make one of those after as well. But first of all, we're gonna try it. I believe it is a Spanish brand who does it. It's about £7, and yeah, I don't really know what to expect, but let's try it. It doesn't have a particularly bad nose. It does remind me a little bit of whiskey. It's some sweetness that it's like if you've been to a distillery tour and you step into the mill house, you can get the scent of this kind of flowery, like barley flour, almost a bit dusty as well. That's what I'm getting on the nose on this one. And they also said that the serving temperature for this is about 2 degrees, so it's quite cold. It kind of suits my flat since it's very cold at the moment, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to try. But let's have another nose. It's almost a bit rubbery on the nose as well. With that barley flour rubber and some kind of, it's vanilla sweetness-esque, but it's just something weird about it. But with that said, it does remind me of whiskey, but do I dare do this? But let's have a little taste. Sláinte. Oh, it's very sweet. I think the sweetness helps to make the consistency thicker, but it tastes like liqueur. It is quite sweet. I mean, it's a bit thinner than what you would get from a normal whiskey, but not as bad as other alternatives that I've tried. I'm just trying to figure out what the flavour is. It's almost like when you chew on a grape. A little bit of that flavour. Trying to figure out if you're recommended to serve in an Irish whiskey, I wonder if you can maybe change your ratios of sugar, because it's quite sweet naturally in itself. But it's yeah, it almost tastes a bit like a really sweet white wine. On the nose, it's definitely more whiskey-esque than on the palate. I mean, it's not bad. It's a lot sweeter, obviously, than what you get from whiskey. It is straight away, if you gave this to me blind, I wouldn't go, oh, is this a whiskey? Or is this whiskey flavored even? But it's more like I would have guessed. It's somewhere between grape juice and a really sweet white wine. I'll probably still use it in cocktails because I think it would be a good component still. But I mean, let's try a little whiskey sour. I'm gonna go make one and I'll be right back. And we're back with a whiskey sour. I didn't add any sugar syrup because it is so sweet in itself, and I like a whiskey sour that's more sour than sweet. So let's have a little taste. Not terrible. It's obviously depending on what whiskey you use in your whiskey sour. For example, if you use a bourbon, or if you use a rye, or if you use a scotch, you're gonna get different flavors. This, I would say, is quite a neutral sour. I don't know if you would get pretty much the same result if you used just sugar syrup and lemon juice, perhaps, and I don't know, something else that's quite neutral, just to fill it up and make it more volume. But I mean, not bad. It doesn't really taste like whiskey, but I mean, I would definitely drink this as a non-alcoholic option. Yeah, I mean, not bad. I will definitely keep drinking this. Will I drink it neat? Maybe, but that would be more instead of a liqueur. It's slightly less sweet than your thick liqueurs, but it's also a lot sweeter than your whiskey. I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm happily surprised because it is tricky with non-alcoholic spirits, and I think one of the trickiest things is getting a good consistency to it. Most of the ones you shouldn't really drink neat. You should just use them as a component in, for example, a cocktail or a mocktail. But I am very curious about it, and I'm very, very curious about how you make non-alcoholic spirits. Because this one, I know they said they use barley, wheat and rye, and that they kind of made it like a whiskey, but they didn't ferment it, which is why you didn't get the alcohol production started. But yeah, I wish I could learn more. So if you know any good websites or companies or tools online perhaps, or books that I could check out and learn more about it, or if you have any options, non-alcoholic options that you like or that you've heard is good, please let me know in the comments below. It's not just whiskey, it's alternatives for gin and for all kinds really. I love drinking whiskey, and I drink whiskey for the flavour. I very, very rarely drink to get intoxicated or feel drunk. I don't actually like being drunk. I mean, there's a word in Swedish, salongsberusad, which is just when you get a little bit tipsy, which I don't really mind. It's quite a fun feeling. I know a lot of people kind of like it, but I don't like the feeling of losing control or... Yeah, no, it's not for me. I mean, if you like it, then that's fine. It's you're responsible for yourself, but please drink responsibly. But I like having the option of drinking mocktails, of just having a fancy drink whenever I feel like it, but not having to always have to drink alcohol. I just don't like it. And I like being up early in the morning, and mocktails are so much better for that. No headaches. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you tried Whissin? Have you tried any other whiskey, non-alcoholic whiskey alternatives, or non-alcoholic gin options, or etc, etc? You get what I mean. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you do like what I'm doing here on YouTube and my other social channels, I'd be absolutely over the moon if you consider using my affiliate links the next time you're shopping with either Master of Malt, the Whisky Exchange, or the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. All that information and the links to my other social channels are in the little section here below. And as always, a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. A big cheers to you guys. I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful day. Sláinte Skål.